I wanted to create an intergenerational, interfaith, interdenominational moment, because we have grandparents who are out here who may remember Dr. King. They don't understand, or they may not have passed on what it felt like to their children. So here was a moment to stand in the shadows of the statue that was created for these moments, for a man who gave his life for us. So I knew around October, I started planning it. I reached out to our general manager again, Craig Knight, and said, I want to start talking about it. I did that on the breakdown. I did it on my show, Like It Is Radio. And I just hope for the best. I got a great amount of outpouring from little-known individuals, and I would just say it was a beautiful event. It was something that was allowing the community to come together after a really rough election for a seat that was adjacent to this area where a lot of African Americans reside. And the turnout was great.
The station you're listening to right now is KCEP Power 88. The People Station. KCEP 88.1 FM Las Vegas. Owned and operated by the Economic Opportunity Board of Clark County. Broadcasting in HD1. We are Power 88, the People Station.
In the interest of community service, Power 88 presents live talk shows to inform, enlighten, and to stimulate thought and dialogue. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of KCEP or the EOB. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the program, or call in and participate at 647-3688.
Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Good evening, Las Vegas, and welcome to another episode of The Breakdown. Make some noise out there. Let the radio land know you're here. Yes, we are live and direct on the corner of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Carey Avenue. Yours truly, Professor Knight, checking in.
Lady AK Advanced Knowledge, I'm here.
All right, Sweet Lou has come through.
Everybody knows why we're out here, right? I remember the day clearly. It was the first time for me I ever saw the elders of my family all gathered together crying. And that means my father and my grandfather and my Uncle Carl. And then I remember that night, being woken up and driving all the way to Washington, D.C., and the smell of smoke as we entered the nation's capital. And the strangest thing to me is my grandfather was smoking a cigar. And I was like, man, you could smell the smoke. And I just looked at him. And I looked at my family. And I saw them all crying. And I knew the impact of this day because somebody had done something to somebody amongst us. And I knew that the family was going to have to go through something.
When they looked at Malcolm X and they shot him in the Audubon ballroom, that was the day that they killed Black Hope. And when they took Martin Luther King Jr. and shot him in Tennessee, that was the day that they killed the dream. And ever since then, we've been living a nightmare.
So we know King is nonviolent, and sometimes we don't like that. We like people who are in front and out, just being brave. But I argue that he was radical, and that because it was cloaked in nonviolence, that he made strides that Malcolm X could not make, because his idea was by any means necessary. It frightened people. The Black Panther Party and the Black Power movement took steps even farther than that. They actually showed their weapons on the street. They had great ideas about nutrition and education, but they were hunted down in the streets by law enforcement, including the FBI.
The reason why we are here is to commemorate his death. We are not celebrating life, it's the truth. We are here because they killed you. And if you were here right now, Martin, I would tell you a few things that would be a bit disturbing to you because you fought for humanity. But you should see what integration did to the souls of your people.
For me, I knew Dr. King meant something to me at 8 years old. And I was blessed to walk by his dormitory at Morehouse and walk by his room in Graves Hall. So I knew that this opportunity of celebrating 50 years of the loss of a king, while they may have extinguished his life, you're evidence that he didn't extinguish his light. So I want to thank you all for coming out. I want to thank Power 88 and the commissioners and all the folks who made this happen.
And so I ask today, as we commemorate 50 years of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., if not you, then who? If not now, then when? And if not today, why not? It's so easy to stand on the sidelines and bump your gums and talk about what you would do and what you should do and what somebody else should do. A lady came up to me and says, I don't know how you doing what you're doing. I say, I know, that's why you're not doing it. Wow. Right? If not now, then when? When are you going to stop talking about what somebody should be doing for you and you sign your name on the dotted line and step up to the plate? Let's see what you can do. And if not today, then why not? If in fact you're not signed up to make a difference, then we're not trying to hear all that. Or in the words of AK, we're not trying to hear all that. You feel me? And so I say to you today, thank you to the Breakdown family for bringing us all together to remember a man who fought for not only this nation, but for this world. But it's also a reminder to all of us, as Stretch said, there's a lot more work to be done.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
All right, I believe that we've been given power. We are here to remember someone who showed us what power looks like in the flesh. So when I say all power to the people, we need to let this whole community know we know who we are, we love ourselves, and we love each other. Right on? All power to the people. I'm scared of y'all. In the words of Chairman Fred Hampton, you can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution. It is a complete honor, blessing, and privilege to stand before you all on today. To Franklyn G, KCPs, the Breakdown, the panel, all distinguished guests, the community, and all those under the sound of my voice. It is an honor and a blessing to be here on today. 50 years since the assassination of one of the most bravest, courageous, and honorable men who ever lived, the Reverend Dr. Martin King Jr.
Amen. Amen.
And today we are here to commemorate his life, but to also take in as well as put out. Well, Stretch, what do you mean take in? Take in what? Take in the real Dr. King.
Come on now.
Not the I Have a Dream watered down Dr. King that the same system that killed him gives to us, but the real, the radical, and the revolutionary Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
They may have locked us into a 6-minute speech, but do know he was the original activist.
What good is it to remember a great human being if we're not going to apply what made that human being great?
Amen. His principles.
Let's not just share his pictures, let's share his message. Let's not just share his quotes, but let's share his life.
Amen.
Let's not just share his videos on YouTube of him speaking courageously, but let's stand up ourselves and speak with the same courage.
Let's show up.
The best way to remember Dr. King is to not just live King, but to love King.
Yes.
The same way faith without works is dead, remembering King without action is also dead.
Amen.
It's time we got to get to work, family.
Amen.
let's not just talk about the dream, but let's work that dream. And like my brother said, let's be the dream. Because that's what Dr. King did. Let me make something clear. He wasn't killed for dreaming. He was killed for waking up. He was killed for being woke.
He wasn't loved until they killed him. Tell the truth.
So it's time we take that dream and work it into reality.
Amen.
So realize, if you are woke, but you are not working, you are still asleep.
Just right across the street here, for those of y'all who were here at one point, remember Carey Arms. This corner was listed on the National Registry as one of the most dangerous corners in America. And we thank community leaders like Councilwoman Pamela Goins-Brown. We thank Assemblyman Tyrone Thompson. We thank all the other officials who signed their names up on the dotted line to do the best that they could possibly do. So let's break it all the way down. I guess the question is, what are you going to do? Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.
Commissioner Lawrence Weekly, District D.
We are one of 26 cities, y'all. We need to come out here on the regular. We need to make sure that we represent what we're standing in front of, because he stood for us. We represent well. So I also want to say, take time to love your family. Here's a chance for the elders to tell what it was like that day. Sure. For the kids who do not know Dr. King.
Really quickly, if you all are still out there, can I have all of the youth to come up to the front, please? I want them to hear what I have to say. If you have a child with you, within earshot of you, anywhere near you, send them up to this concrete walkway right here. Hurry up. Act like y'all getting picked for a kickball tournament. Come on. Do you know where Dr. King was killed? He was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee at the Lorraine Motel. On that same day, the owner of that hotel's wife had a heart attack and died after she found out what happened to Dr. King. Dr. King had an assassination attempt made on his life before he was actually killed. As he was at a book signing, a lady walked up to him with a letter opener and stabbed him in his chest. She stabbed it with so much force that even though he lived, on the way to the hospital, the doctor said that if he had sneezed, he would have died. Okay? Dr. King's name was not Dr. Martin Luther King when he was born. Obviously, he wasn't born a doctor, right? Duh. But he was not born Martin Luther King. He was born Michael King. His dad, who had the same name, went on a trip where it's called a sabbatical. Y'all Google that later. So he went on a sabbatical, and there he was inspired by a priest there named Martin Luther. He was so inspired by that man that he changed his name to Martin Luther King, which made his son Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you, baby. That's my nephew right there. That's Bliss' son right there. He ain't playing with the answers, yeah. With that being said, now you all know some things that you may not have known. Some of you know a lot that you may not have known. The question is what do you do with what I just told you?
Very good. Very well said, AK. And for the listening audience, they did not know where Martin Luther King was assassinated, and AK so graciously gave a great quick history lesson. I know some of y'all didn't know some of that stuff, but these are some of the things that we have to continue to communicate about so we can understand each other more and understand where we come from and where we're supposed to be going. Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, you know, you guys are out here and we're out here live and we're having a good time, but please don't miss the messages. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're looking at the messengers and some may have difference of opinions of who the messengers are today, but please don't forget the messages. Absolutely. The message.
After all the hard work Dr. King did, at the end of his life, most of us weren't standing with him. After all of the work that he sacrificed with his family, we didn't stand with him. At the time of his assassination, people just say it's a death. At the time of his assassination, African Americans weren't feeling it. He was talking anti-war. He was speaking out against the injustice of war in another country with poverty existing here in America. He was speaking about the things that we now take, you know, we know those things were true. They were facts. So for that moment, I knew Dr. King back to the statue and recognizing him more than just that 6-minute speech they try to give us, I have a dream. They didn't give us the radical Dr. King towards the end of his life where he said, you know, I fear I may have moved my people into a burning house, when he was saying, you're black and you're beautiful. Somebody told a lie. You know, those speeches that we don't hear. That's why I wanted everybody to come together and gather. That's what we had the opportunity to do.
To go against the war, which ultimately led to his demise. That was revolutionary. To work with poor people, These are all things we're fighting now. So I think it's important that we recognize the intergenerational connection we're making today. So your children will remember. And we can try to do better because Dr. King wanted us to do better.
The time for us being scared is over and done with.
Amen.
We're not just gonna get out here and put candles out, remember him.
Amen.
We're gonna get to work.
God bless
because
you.
if we don't get to work, then guess what? This vigil means nothing. And everything he did was in vain.
Come on now.
So we're not gonna come out here and say, long live Dr. King. You be Dr. King.
God bless you.
Be what you want to see. Stop looking for a leader and lead yourself. That's what he did.
You should see the self-destructive behavior that we have come to know since they have a plan of social engineer for us. 375,000 black men in jail. 740 black children aborted every year.
Having one leader got us nowhere. Because when he got killed, who stepped up?
Nobody.
But guess what? If you step up, if everybody step up, if they take me out, guess what? They got to take all of us. And we ain't going nowhere. So guess what? We're going to stand up, we're going to beat Dr. King, we're going to change this community, we're going to stop waiting for somebody to help us, and we're going to help ourselves. All power to the people. All power to the people.
And in that vein, I want us to support Power 88 because without this vehicle, we wouldn't know.
I will die in my grave before I again will be enslaved, you see. We went to yell it from the mountaintops. And on that day, we could not be stopped. We had determination to change the nation because we knew change was going to come, taking a page from the book of Sam Cooke. It started as a dream to fight the downright demeaning way that we were being treated. We were 250,000+ strong. We were there to right a wrong. Singing, we shall overcome like Mahalia Jackson. We were there to demand some action, but we didn't want a fraction. We wanted the whole thing. Because see, on that day, we was there to be heard and we sure enough was seen. We were there to fight against racial inequality. We were there for every man, woman, and child still living in poverty. We were there to fight against job discrimination. No, we were not there to fight nor riot, but we were there to change a nation, and we was aware. We was aware that the best statements we can make was by being at our best, and that the best bullets we can shoot from our guns was the bullet of success. So we marched on Washington and said, put us to the test. Bring on the hoses and bring on that dogs, because on that day we stood united as one. And it brought tears to our eyes as we stood as a people united in pride, ignoring the great divide. It was our King who stood over us as our souls grew, so we should not be moved. It was our King who stood over us and said, I have a dream. Because on that day in 1963, it was about livelihood. It was about getting out the hood. So we said we will keep our eyes on the prize until the dogs stop biting us in the south and the rats stop biting us in the north. Until we can walk into the room and get a job based on our qualifications and not be prejudged based on the racist views of a corrupt nation that was built on the back of our people. We were there to let them know that they were walking on sacred ground of our blood, sweat, and tears. We were there to let them know that no longer will this country be built on our fears. We were there. And now we are here. And I will die in my grave before I again will be enslaved.
Amen.
It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh.
And we have a great program going on because we need to figure out where are we now since we lost our king. What are we doing since we lost our king? Amen.
And where are the other kings that are going to take his place?
The other kings got to rise up. Where the princes? The prince that's supposed to come up
50
behind
years,
the king.
they kings now. They grand kings. 50
That's right.
years.
I was 3 years old. I still haven't seen another king.
Wow, that makes me...
I've seen people close, but not like king. Not like our king.
And
so
let's not get mistaken by King James either.
No, that's a whole nother thing.
Different king.
That's a whole nother thing.
If you're just checking in, tuning in,
This is the Breakdown Special Edition live on the corner of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Carey. We're in front of the statue. This is our first time live in front of the statue? This is our first time live in front of the statue.
But not our last though, right?
Not our last time. No, absolutely not. The Breakdown is on tour right now.
Right. That's true.
You know, we was at Victory Missionary Baptist Church for the Ward 5 Candidate Forum.
Yes.
I want to thank everyone for coming out for that. Congratulations to Mr. Cedric Creer.
He is here.
Who is the new councilman for Ward 5. Is he here?
Yes, Cedric Creer.
Cedric Creer.
You got to get his...
I want to say in the house in the building, but we outside.
He's outside of the building. He's
How you doing, Councilman-elect?
Y'all show some love for him.
Show some love. Ward 5 Councilman-elect Cedric Creer. Live. Once again, we are having a fundraiser. We have this beautiful Dr. Martin Luther King painting over here on this easel if you want to look at it. The raffle tickets are $5 donations, and we'll be giving it away at the end of this program. Please support your favorite radio station, the People Station, where we are one. Shout out to Big Countries in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the water, man. He's always looking out, man. Nurturing brother. And Craig, I just want to give a shout out to all of the Greek organizations that are with us. I don't know who's all here. The Divine Nine that's out there. Thank you guys for being here.
Can we give a shout out to one in particular?
Sure.
Where my Kappa League shorties at? Kappa League, where y'all at?
Kappa League is
where
in the...
y'all at? Kappa League, hey now. Those are distinguished young men. Go ahead, look at them.
Looking sharp with their ties.
Look sharp.
Of course. As we keep the program going, we want to definitely know that this is an event brought to you by Power 88. You can look around and see all your family members out here. It's very important that you recognize the station that brings it to you.
Brian Harris in the house, the Black Book.
Yes.
Be sure to see him. If you have a business, you should be in the Black Book. All right? He also has a show on KCEP Power 88 every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Right? That's right. It's SOS. SOS. That's right. When you have a chance, somebody from Mastering Mindset, we need a representative to come over here because people need to know about you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, LJ, Mastering Mindsets.
All right, what's going on, Peace Family? I'm LJ, and this is the board of Mastering Mindsets Las Vegas. We're a youth empowerment organization, and our mission is to create positive pipelines for our youth. I'm sure everybody in this crowd right now knows at least one nurse, one doctor, one educator. So we said, why be dependent on a public school system when we have enough professionals in our community and we can provide workshops and classes for our kids on our own. But at the same time, we realized that if we raise all our children to be successful and they blew all their money on Gucci belts, and ultimately as a community we failed them. We lost the importance of knowledge of self within raising our youth. So that's a principle that we want to get back. That's something that we want to encourage in the communities, because as of right now, we're not here because of what kind of car Dr. King drove. We're here because of the impact that he made with his family and his community and all over the world. So one thing that we emphasize within Mastering Mindsets is energy can't be destroyed, it can simply be changed. And the fact that we're all here today celebrating the 50th commemoration of Dr. King's death is a direct reflection of the energy being transferred into each and every one of us today. So I challenge all of us to do something so impactful when we leave here today that people talk about us 50 years from now. All right?
Well, you know, we got to keep the program going. We got another person coming up, Craig.
Yes, we do. Spoken word, right?
We got another piece by Mr. LeBlack. Y'all know how he puts it down. Let's put your hands together. He's going to hit us with some words because, you know, that's the original thoughts. Let's hear it for LeBlack, y'all. Come on now. LeBlack's touching us. LeBlack Williams, y'all.
In these great United States of America, black lives don't matter. Black lives get shattered. Like dreams are being treated right. Like dreams are being treated like human beings with God-given rights. No human being should have to fight for the same respect that the next man expects and demands in this land of the free. No man should ever be strange fruit on familiar trees. No roots should ever be uprooted or have their entire existence polluted and fabricated. Denied the opportunity to be educated, faced with daily unadulterated hate, it begs to question. Is black skin a curse or a blessing? Is that not cause for aggression? After over 40 decades of over-aggressive immoral oppression, with no resting or easing, with no rhyme or reason, nothing but evil, violent misers and tyrants, inflicting violence on millions of people, terrified into silence.
Precious Lord, linger near with my life. Is almost gone. Hear my cry. Hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me on. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am so weak, I am so tired, I am so.
I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Yes, Lord. All right.
Thank you. Amen.